So before we go into this game, I want to tell you a quick fact about Miss Fortune. She hasn't been nerfed or negatively changed since the release of Brand in April 2011, which was actually before the end of Season 1. Following on from that date, every single change to her has been either a buff or a bug fix. During this time, we've also seen the rise and fall of many AD carries people considered overpowered on that specific patch. The latest being grouped into something known as the Holy Trinity, consisting of Corki, Graves and Ezreal. As far as I'm aware, since those major changes, no carry or group of carries really seems to be dominating bot lane. Miss Fortune, however, I believe has the potential to start going that way. She has the second highest base health of all AD carries. That matched with her early game damage is a monstrous combination. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting fact. Let's get into the game. Okie dokie, so Miss Fortune. Generally a strong laner, late game damage is not bad either. The only thing you really need to worry about is getting ganked constantly or dying in teamfights to their brooders later on, because you don't have much to help you escape with. The key to playing carries like this successfully really lies in how well you're kiting people, and also proper flash use. Generally it's nice to come out of lane with some kind of advantage as well, because in my opinion that's where our strength lies. If your support wants to go stop their golems and you think you have a decent setup for it, then I think it's usually a good idea. Most of the time, like in this case, they won't be properly grouped together, and you can get a health advantage in lane before it even starts. So as you can see here, we've done a little bit more trading and we've come out heavily on top. I actually flashed here and tried to ignite auto Caitlyn. That's because I didn't quite look if she had barrier or not, and that's just generally something you really need to get into a conscious habit of doing, and constantly checking their summoner spells before you go into any fights. Lulu notices I get a little bit low and flashes in and exhausts me. Because we were winning trades before, the lane ended up pushing and I managed to hit level 2 while this was all going on. Caitlyn didn't quite have enough health to just sit there and tank me, so she kind of had to move while trying to kill me. So mostly due to that level up, I'm able to pick up first blood on Lulu since she burned her flash and exhaust, expecting to get a kill. So Caitlyn decided to stick around and try and pick up some of this CS. For some reason he thought I would just be nice to him and let him take this CS, but it doesn't quite work like that. If you're playing against a good player, he's really going to want to take an advantage and stop you getting all that CS. Like, he's on that small amount of health, there's no way he can stay and get that. What he should have done was instantly gone back and just accepted that that's what happened and he needed to rectify this the best he could and just get back to lane quickly. Olaf's coming in for a gank and my intentions were to hit him as much as I possibly could while not putting myself at risk. It was quite bad of me to sort of sit on top of Sona like that because his axe hit both of us. However, he doesn't have much mana, so it wasn't too big of a deal. Luckily the enemy mid laner went back and we had a Pantheon, so he saw an opportunity for some kills here and we managed to pick up Olaf. So because Caitlyn doesn't have boots, Pantheon does, and I have Strut, we can easily take her down too. Pantheon call's missing, so I asked Sona to ward that little brush there. For some reason it didn't come into my mind that Zed could actually come behind our tower, and we didn't quite have any wards around the dragon area at all, so we end up getting killed here. So I get a little bit of damage off onto Caitlyn here, and I kind of feel it wasn't worth for Sona to flash for that, because they have barrier, they have Lulu ulti, just with their combo, it's really difficult to kill them all out in one go, unless they're fairly low health already. Although despite that, something good still came out of it, and this is kind of what I really think means to be a good jungler, is map awareness. So Amumu kind of knows that Caitlyn's forced to go back, and he thinks Lulu might stay at the tower, so he comes down, and that's actually what happens, all due to map awareness. So what happens here is a classic example of overextending too far and basically baiting your team to death. When you're playing a jungler or some sort of champion, tanky champion with CC like Amumu, your job's really to be engaging and knowing the correct times to engage, the correct times to take the fight. You could also argue that I should also know when not to follow him in, but it doesn't quite work that way, to be honest. So at this moment when Amumu flashed and missed his bandage toss, it should have instantly registered in his mind that he fucked up, he missed, and continuing on with this is just really going to be a bad idea. You can see at this point here, just by the way my character's moving, that it instantly registered in my head, no, this is a bad idea, stop going. But for Amumu, and I don't know if anyone else, but just specifically for Amumu, it did not. And these are the key things that you need to learn to go up elo to get better at the game. These are the key things that will make you win or lose games. As you can see, Zed gets a quadra kill and it takes the score from us being 15 to 12 to being 15-15. So in case for some reason you didn't know, if someone's coming to the bush that you're in and you know you can take them and they'll be forced to run away from you, best thing is to do is just wait until they reach the bush and then start attacking them. So because Lulu was half health, I just wanted to burn the Ignite and get her dead and then deal with Caitlyn afterwards. So you are really able to still kill the support sometimes. It just depends really if you're able to kill the AD carry afterwards, if it's going to be worth it or not. So essentially what's breaking out here is our first team fight. And Amumu lands a nice bandage shot onto Olaf, and because I'm not under any pressure at all, I'm just doing as much damage as I can to him as quickly as possible. So Zed uses his ultimate on me and starts trying to do whatever the hell Zed does to try and burst me down or whatever, since he got a quadra kill before and he's fairly fed. But I bought the giant spell, which I'm going to turn into a frozen mallet, just simply because they have Zed and Olaf, and Miss Fortune's really like difficult to play without buying at least some health items, I think, and that's just one little tip I would give you when playing her. He put himself in a really awkward position though, and most of his team weren't ready to go in yet, and once again it's all about initiation. He just gets Sona ulted and completely bursted down. At this point I wasn't paying enough attention, and I didn't even expect Nidalee to come behind us at all, and I essentially do what is the worst flash I've probably ever seen. This is just what's called basically a panic flash, and to be fair to myself, I don't really do it all that often anymore, and it's usually something that I would see in like players that are newer to the game or whatever, but you really just panic and you just instantly flash, and I literally end up flashing on top of Nidalee, which is like the complete opposite of where I wanted to go. I should have flashed over the wall and to safety, really. I would have been okay then. But it actually surprised me how long I actually stayed alive. It kind of just shows how strong that build is. So one thing I noticed throughout this game is that Caitlyn just always wanted to farm. All she wanted to do was farm. Just farm, 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 farm. And we had the inhibitor in mid due to what happened before. And as soon as I noticed that she was bottom when we were all around the Baron area, I just instantly pinged Baron as fast as I could. And this is just something that you can't end up doing, especially when you've lost an inhibitor. You can't be at bottom at 30 minutes in the game when Baron's up. It's just really bad for your team. And basically this was all Caitlyn's fault as to why we got Baron, pretty much. So we catch them off guard and basically just slaughter them all when we've got our Baron buff. And it was kind of over before this anyway, really, but yeah. Thanks for watching. And if you want to see more breakdowns, please consider giving this video a like and hitting subscribe. See ya!